Okay. Yeah, I'll be starting them just a few minutes after the official start time, because I know we all kind of stumble in. Stumble in. So send me some questions. Don't give me that I'm late to the class. I see you. So I was trying to think of topics, and usually my mind is pretty quiet and empty, and then it receives sort of, things to share. So feel free today, actually, on questions. Let's take a moment. There's only one step. Which is, am I fascinated, obfuscated by, mesmerized by, hooked by, hijacked by the outer creation, versus am I feeling myself as source? That's it. All of it can be reduced to, am I connected to heaven within me or hell? Am I connected? Am I hooked up? Have I made come union? So the only step is, am I pulled into the feedback noise, of creation, where the source has been replaced by the creation? If the creation is trying to be the source, like feedback guitar, you've heard me use the message. If you hold up the pickups to the amp, it creates this loop of dissonant, horrible, screechy shit that you can toy with. I think John Lennon did it on Help or something the first time. You can toy with it, kind of fun, like kind of keep your hand letting it up a little and down. But if you let it run, it'll eventually just blow up your amp. Rip, tear it, fry it, which is exactly what's happening to humans, right? We've made the creation, things, other people that we're fastened onto, our attention gets fastened onto it, and we create a horrible feedback loop noise. That's basically a mort Al. Al is mortal. Al the plumber is going to die. Mortal creation is basically because we've made the creation the source. Whether it's idolatry, basically. If you worship the stone or the object or the fetish, the created thing, you are hooking up the wires the wrong way, and you're going to fry it. And that's exactly what happens to humans. We fry our nervous systems. The eternal life has to leave, right? So the only step is away from being fastened, mesmerized, fascinated on the manifested. Don't become fastened into the manifested. Yep, here's the shit. Here's the drama, trauma, and karma. It's actually there. It's meant to be drama, trauma, and karma. It needs to be. Why? Because that's your wake-up call. That's your check engine light. And here you are in your cockpit. This is your cockpit, your circumstance. The standing around you in circles, not just circles, but spheres. And then multidimensional L shifts into, imagine multidimensional L shift spheres. Imagine more than 3D. 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, multiple layers coexisting, coinciding each other, being coincidental. That's how masters can operate, like you hear me say, like Babaji and Jesus today and ayahuasca can work with thousands, millions, hundreds of thousands, millions of people coincidentally, because it's coinciding omnipresence. Just feel the concept. Now, these are concepts. By the way, there's drilling going on outside on the street here today. So I'm going to do it anyway, and we'll see how it turns out. I asked for a reprieve, which I got there for a while, but I guess, come on, angels, you need to get on the, don't these guys need to go to lunch? I think there's a lunch break coming up, or I don't want to break their equipment. So the only step is outer fascinated back into inner connected. One full conscious breath with your attention on your solar plexus and your heart and your inner whole tree of life is the reset button. Even with fucking jackhammer drilling going on outside, right? It's a great example of it. That's the stuff. Mommy, I need help. Yeah, it's an emergency. You know, something will yank you out into creation, super glue, velcroed to the creation. Stress, burning out your nervous system. And you need to die. Because then, like my father, who came back to me, I don't want to break their equipment, but I want it to fucking shut up. We'll see what happens. My father, who came back to me in the backyard of one of my friends after my father had, passed, shed the mortal coil. And he was like, my father went, oh my God, I can't believe I forgot that where I am now is the fundamental reality, not the stress and worry I had in trying to provide for a family or always worried about whatever. So that's the only step. Feel it. There's only one step. That's why Buddhist monks do this walking meditation, because each step, I am here now. I have arrived. It's a really good practice, actually. When you go for a walk, put away your fucking headset or have some music on, and don't bring your ski poles and pretend that so your ego feels satisfied. I'm doing something. I have to do all the time. That's a sure way to drain your life force and kill yourself. We are hurrying to our deaths. Chapter in the book. Actually, I have a book somewhere. Anyway, Listening to the Sun on Amazon. We are hurrying to our deaths, and we should. I used to bitch at God about it. He said, look, it's how it needs to be, because like my father, oh, I forgot. It's like a reminder. Come back. Recall the spy who forgot that he actually was someone else. Come back. Life review. Settle down. Let's process that life. Get it. Oh, okay. That's where I fucked up. I get it. It's about love. It's about respect. It's about free will. Oh, and by the way, now that we processed that for you, here's the next step of life for you. Here's who you used to be, and here's more of who you really are. And we're just going to give it to you in doses so you don't become a wet spot in the corner and blow up your little starship. So the only step is back, and not to not enjoy we're here to enjoy the creation. It's not about, we spent millions of years literally on Earth creating so we can incarnate in this particular drama with this particular history. We came here to play the game. It's like in Braveheart when that one guy goes, or I think Mel Gibson says it, when they're all standing on the battlefield, it's like, well, we didn't get dressed up for nothing. We came here to do something, to experience something. If you want to go experience battle, fuck yeah, do it. It's all good. But we made this creation to experience it. It's like you built the set, you sent out the tickets, you did the programs, you put it on the show, putting on the play. And we didn't just come to the guy come up on stage and go, good night, go home. No. We created this creation to participate in it. It's one of the little huge, creates huge eons of fighting ourselves. misunderstandings, I would suggest, with ass sending, wanting to send my ass back out of here immediately. It's like, let's travel all the way to Santa Fe and just to turn around. Let's go to the ocean, the Pacific, and yep, seen it. Get back in the car, get the hell out of here. You didn't experience anything. Remember in Oak Creek Canyon a few years ago, and I'd usually go there in the evening at Slide Rock, sneak in the back door, don't tell the Forest Service. And I remember seeing this couple coming down that obviously been up the Grand Canyon for the day, and they see me stop there. And like the herd does, oh, there's something to look at. What is it? What's that guy looking at? You know, do the experiment. Go stand outside and start looking in the sky in some downtown city, and people will go, what are you looking at? You know. So they come out of the car, look at the red rocks. The guy literally has this little piece of shit, small little camera, takes a picture, gets right back in the car and leaves. What did he experience? Nothing. Nothing. Or just a mental weirdness cataloging, look, I've been there and here's the picture to prove it. There was no community. Now, my job at that time, Spirit was setting me up to go, can you not judge that, Tobias? Can you allow that? Like the first time I went to Rome ever, I'm like 21. On purpose, I didn't bring a camera. Don't take any pictures. Feel them. Experience it. Tap in. That's a different approach, isn't it? That's a different approach than let's catalog my experiences and label them in file catalogs at home or keep them on sticks for posterity. You're not living for now. I'm cataloging my whole life for my grandkids, really? What a fucking waste of time. They're not even going to look at it. You wasted your life. Being a little harsh, a little direct, to get the point across. So the only step we're doing is outer fascination, mind cataloging experiences. By the way, those are all wiped out as soon as you do the life review. The ego id entity cataloged experiences are relegated to the Akasha, the Akashic Records. They're still there, but as far as you, the buildup of soul tartar memory buildup, gone, etch-a-sketch, done. You have to go to the library to look it up, and you're not going to be interested in it. You're going to get the main lessons or the main interests from that lifetime. But it's just like us. You go catalog all these pictures and videos. How often do you look at it? Once? Maybe 20 years later, there's some interest. Yes. So it becomes, that's all ego mind. That's trying to catalog and capture. There's whole civilizations, by the way, in this, towards the center of the galaxy, that think information. They think. There's the first hand. They think. They don't feel. They think. That's the zoo animal in a cage, thinking. The polar bear, stuck. No progress. No new experience. Robotic living. There's whole civilization towards the center of the galaxy that in their fallen state, in their awake state, they're not like that. Because it is calmer in the center of the galaxy. We're more like on the, we're not quite almost flung out of the galaxy, but we're 2/3 of the way out on the Milky Way. It's a little more activity and action. It's more of a carnival ride where we are on Earth. Towards the center, it's more center. And it's a little calmer and a slower circling. Out here, it's like, whoa. Those civilizations, many of them think that information is God. Those who have the most information are the most accomplished. They're kind of the watchers with the giant heads, and they catalog it all. But it's just a waste. It's just disk space used for really no reason, in one sense. But the universe has that as an aspect of itself that it wants to keep track of it all as well. So those people that love being cosmic galactic librarians, it's cool. if you're one of those souls that are here on Earth, which I've met a bunch and worked with them, the original Akasha trackers, librarian, recorders, watchers, you may also be tricking yourself into, oh, I do want to feel. I do want to have emotions. And it often beings that think they come to teach on Earth, it's really a way that they trick themselves, or their soul tricks them, or Source, or God, or the Tao tricks them to come to Earth because they're going to learn something. Sometimes I say, oh, I'm a galactic walk-in. I'm here to teach the stupid backward humans. Really? You're just starting. You're just starting to learn what feelings are. You're going to have babies and relationships, and it's going to blow those ideas of Spockian understanding. You don't know shit when you come to Earth about emotions, about these finer energies. That's what this teaches. And often we have to trick ourselves as a pioneer from other star systems. Earth is a galactic melting pot. So anyway, the only step back, you're going to be fastened into karmic drama, trauma, and karma, like Velcro to crap and horrible experiences in one way. Rape, murder, kill, which is kind of a default position on Earth, which is as soon as the shit hits the fan and we're right there in dire event horizon with it right now with World War III. Although we have enough help, guidance, and there's enough of us that don't want to re-experience cataclysmic catastrophism, i.e., the fall of Rome, the fall of Greece, the fall of Egypt, the fall of Atlantis, the fall of Mars, the fall of Maldek. We blew up. Well, you've heard me say it before. Anyway, we're repeating history. This time we have a shot at it, and not catastrophism, our current civilization, but rather transformism. We're going to transform it from the inside, transform this culture. That's what many of the millennials, by the way, are coming in with. No, I'm not going to even participate in the way my parents do it. I'm just not even going to do it. They're just like, no, I'm not even going to go there. That's why they have that saying, like, don't even go there. So we are going to, in my view, I'm not being Pollyanna. This is what you came for. This is what you got dressed up for nothing. No, you didn't. You came for the show. The show's about to start. The show's about to begin. Is everybody in? Right? The ceremony is about to begin on Earth. The shit's about to hit the fan. The melting of the dimensions is going to start happening. Will some people go insane and crazy like they did in Atlantis? Yes. Will they be removed from this plane in this existence and need to go to another planet? Yes. Your job is not to go with them if it's not what's right for you. Is the melting of the veil going to start coming apart now? Initiated by Jesus, ripping that veil in the Jewish temple. Just one religious little tiny story on Earth. There's hundreds of others. The Japanese, the Aborigines, the South Americans, the Native Americans here, the Ronaloka, golden spirits in Africa. Whole nother story. It's a completely different story. The Hebrew story is just one tiny little fucking story. They just happened to advertise it a lot. And it was lent itself to being usurped and as a control religion. So then spread into, they said it was so good as a control religion, let's make Christianity of it. And then it was still so good, they said, let's do another one, Islam too. And it's so damn good. The Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, such a good one that it's basically become the favorite of obfuscating, religionism, controlling, energy usurping, soul harvesting entities. You can't really make a religion out of Taoism. Doesn't work. See any Taoist churches around, temples? There's a few. Pretty quiet. Most people don't even know they're there. So The show's about to begin on Earth. Is it going to go on for 250 years or 750 years? Who knows? How's it going to act out? That's part of the fun. You've come for the show. Imagine you come to an improv show and audience participation. Everything's going to matter. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop us individually. Somebody let me know if you're still seeing me. Thanks. Just write me a little note. Nothing can stop you from individually reconnecting. The collective, we can't control. That has to do, that's the improv, that's the story is not written yet. The ending is not written yet. So feel it. Throughout your day, you have the power. I can feel my inner solar plexus, my heart, the whole pillar of fire, feeling my neck. From the tip of your Sahasrara to the Muladhara. You have to learn all these words, Sanskrit words, or you won't pass the test. From your root chakra to your crown chakra, to the top of your head, to the bottom of your tailbone, bottom of your feet. Great, thank you. That's it. I am the access point. I am the power. You could be like Lord Byron, imprisoned in the castle Shillong. Or the prisoner of Shillong, he writes the poem. Chained to sweaty, seeping walls at Lake Geneva. The castle. By the way, that's where Frankenstein was conceived. The idea, Mary Shelley, Percy Shelley, and Lord Byron, the three of them were really lovers. And they created one dark and stormy night. They created, The Prisoner of Shillong by Lord Byron, and Mary Shelley, as you notice, is the author of Frankenstein. Was inspired one night. But even being imprisoned in a dungeon like that, The Prisoner of Shillong, the poem is about being free. So nothing can stop us from accessing our hearts. Nelson Mandela, 27, 23 years in prison, whatever. He had some kind of transformation while in there. Obviously not an outer assisted. They weren't coming to him every day. All right, let's do our Kundalini yoga today and feel the love of God. No, they weren't treating him that way. But yeah, he had his own access to source. So my point there is nothing can stop you. One full conscious breath during the day, or just a short reminder. Feel my solar plexus, my root chakra, all of me. I am a tree of life. And then, with that connection, you're going to be able to enjoy the show. Literally, you didn't get dressed up for nothing. You came here to enjoy the show. You didn't come here to go, oh, I just created a human body. Oh, I better fucking ascend out of it right away with my Ida and Pingala and just rise out of it and learn the yoga and just to retreat from everybody. I've done that. I think 2 lifetimes ago. It's kind of embarrassing. Yogi, Himalayan yogi. Yeah. And I was going to do it this lifetime as well. There's a book in India called the Book of Bhrigu. Not sure you can still access it, but through thousands of years, it's been passed down from certain families that have just kept them. These were an ancient rishi. Rishi is just a wise man, wizard, old, a rishi that spent, the story goes, several thousand years in pure communion, writing down each soul's life on earth. Literally write. The ones that were going to access the Book of Bhrigu, the ultimate astrologer, you want to fucking whet your appetite here? This book knows each soul that will come to it will know its exact lifetimes. When I went to it, I was 23. I was in India. Indra Devi, who helped start yoga in America. I was an older lady at the time in her 80s. And she pulled me aside. This was at Sai Baba's ashram. And the reason I'm just telling these stories is to help you access and know that you have this in yourself as well. And she said, go see this guy. I'm going to shorten the story. When I got there, he didn't he said, write your name and your birthday, and I'm going to measure your shadow on the balcony in some Mumbai suburb. And he said, I'm going to tell you some things right. And he went back in the back room, and there's like these little palm leaves, like the old Egyptian, it looked like the Egyptian leaves, they were actually written on these leaves, which they've rewritten, hundreds of times over the thousands of years. And he said, I'm going to tell you some things. And if I'm not, I didn't tell him anything. I wrote my name down on my birthday. That was it. He said, I'm going to tell you some things. And if I'm not 100% correct, I got to measure your shadow again. And I'm like 21. I'm just like, whatever. And he told me some things that nobody could know. Certainly not him. They were exactly right. I said, okay, get out a pen and paper, record it. I'm going to tell you what you're going to happen in this lifetime. And what was going to happen is I was going to go back and be with Babaji in the mountains in the Himalayas. But something changed in 1999. That was the year Edgar Cayce predicted we would have the pole shift, the actual shifting, the earth flipping on its axis, which creates, 800-mile-per-hour winds on the surface and giant sloshing of the oceans, which would wipe out all our ports, all our major cities from LA to Tokyo to Amsterdam to London to every major port, Cairo, everything, Haifa, on the whole planet. It would wipe out our civilization. It would have been that catastrophism start over. Edgar Cayce was accurate on all his medical readings and other stuff. He was not accurate, thank God, on the 1999 pole shift. Something changed then. There was an actual timeline changed. I asked Baba about it. I said, what happened? By 1995, I was supposed to be gone with Western civilization and back in the Himalayas. And his little offhand comment was just, things changed. What the thing was that changed was that we're not going to do that, at least not in this timeline. We're actually transforming it from the inside. Instead of wipe out, like Atlantis, sink the whole damn thing, drown them all, the flood, start over, that's not happening this time. George Carlin actually had a preference. He wanted it to happen. He talked about being I want earthquakes. All I get is a 3 and a 4 and a 5, occasionally a 7, some knocking down of buildings. I want a 25. I want continents to flip over, right? George Carlin used to do that routine. Now you can argue whether you want that or not. It's up to you. But on this timeline, apparently we're not doing that. You can enjoy the show. There's going to be huge transformation, free energy, the way we grow food. We're all going to wake up from the ridiculous big harma, all the pharmaceuticals that we're taking, and the keep the good part of the allopathic medicine, the stuff setting bones and emergency surgery and all that. Everything has its place. But we're going to grow out of that kind of emergency. We have to have an emergency for us to emerge and wake up like my dad. Oh my God, I forgot that here where I am now is more real than that 75-year life I had doing that stuff. That's the thinning of the veils now. You're going to be able to know while incarnate more of who you really are. For instance, ayahuasca is a preview. She's a helper. She's a grace pill. She's the real wafer of true salvation. Of, die before you die, the vine of the dead. You don't have to have a car accident to have the near-death experience. You can do ayahuasca. One of my first sets of ceremonies, I literally, at one point, came back to my senses during ceremony and go, oh my God, I'd been 200 years in the future. And I looked back the timeline of my soul existence, and I said, did I die in the jungle back there 200 years ago? And they had to ship my body back to the States? It was like, that's how it happens for most people, by the way, when they die. They completely veil from their past life, and they're now somewhere new. Just the way we come in here. We come in, we forget. The angel puts his finger here, and that's why you have the dimple, right? You have the dimple right here because the angel goes, shh, don't talk about where you came from. There's that veiling for the baby. One little child is a story. He didn't have one of these. And they asked, one day he volunteered with his mom. He's like 2 years old. He said, when the angel came to put the finger on me, I turned my head. That's why I remember. Cute story. True story. At least out of his mouth. So this is the time when the veils are going to thin again. This will scare a lot of people when at first they see shadows, spirits, shadow people, and then they start seeing their dead, departed ones. When that is a sign of the thinning of the veil. Coming up maybe next year, maybe in 10 years. We don't know, but it's coming. It's pretty close. Everybody's going to start seeing that like they do on their deathbeds. Oh, hi, Jenny. I haven't seen you for 40 years. We were friends in high school. That's why when you're hanging out with people in hospice, you'll start seeing them looking into the other worlds. And that sometimes they'll even grasp for it as they get close to transition. They'll see old friends. The veil's thin. Well, that's going to happen publicly, openly on Earth, whether it's UFOs, other spiritual dimensions, nature spirits, and hellish dimensions. Depending on who you are, you're going to see more of what you are. Ayahuasca is a preview, so you're like, I've been here. I know this domain, kingdomain. I know these many layers of astral places, many mansions, many frequencies of heavens and hells and collective places and so forth. This is all now going to be revealed. For those that are stuck in materialist, Cartesian worship of that, they're going to have a hard time. They have a hard time now, actually. Materialists, when they die, they need recovery on the other side. There's whole rooms and wings and hospitals and mansions in the 4D that helps materialists. Some of them remember pretty quickly, others don't. They need to gently, they're kind of put in a, like we do, an induced coma, the way we do in hospitals. Someone has been through super burn or trauma, super trauma, that's just so painful. You induce a coma and try to help them get recovery enough that they can handle the sensory overload. That's exactly what happens when materialists die here on Earth. They need to be in sort of a spiritually induced coma for a while, then gently show, no, you're still alive. And if the terror hits them too much, you need to put them under again. There's halfway houses, hospitals like that, many, many, many in the lower fourth dimensional astral realms. This is all going to be revealed. It all makes sense. And actually, the more it makes sense, like my dad said, oh my God, this totally makes sense. He was a scientist. He had decided, and he didn't spend much time, I think, thinking about that. But another large part of him knows about it. So for some people that are materialists, don't judge from the outside cover. You can't tell. When they die, they go, oh yeah, I forgot. I just played this game of being an atheist. That was a laugh, right? Some people do it that way. Others do have a hard time. But all these things I'm sharing, like that very thing I'm sharing, is going to come to light. All things shall come to light. Come back to consciousness. The subconscious, the repressed consciousness inside us is banging at the door, imagine having all your fucking demons in a cellar door or locked in the the bowels of a ship, right? And the prisoners want out. That's what's going on inside each and every one of us. Those aspects of ourselves that we've relegated to hell, locked down, and are going to come back up. And if they break through en masse, you have people going crazy. If your subconscious id entity, the repressed shit, all comes through at once, you literally black out and that shit acts out. So what happens also in murders often. like OJ syndrome. They literally black out, flip out, Jekyll and Hyde, and that shit starts acting out through them. All this is going to be understood more and more and more, that the only real healing is going to be through open feeling. Get real to heal, you know, face it, feel it, free it. But because Pandora's box is pretty chock full and fucking demons are crawling out the edges right at our subconscious, if you open the lid, if you flip your lid too much, you're overwhelmed. So this has to be, for those that want real healing, it has to be a managed process in a sense, like only let out 3 demons at a time from Pandora's box. I used this example the other day, so it's still fresh in my mind. So there's many, many of us, I'd say about 1 billion, that want healing, awakening, remembering, the thinning of the veils, the removing of the veils, so that we then talk what? Face to face with Source, with the Tao, with God. But the old system is no one can be face to face with God and survive, which is true. If all of a sudden all that stuff comes out, your repressed subconscious memories, the veil breaks, the dam breaks too soon, you end up where? On the dark side of the moon. That whole album by Pink Floyd is about the dam breaks too soon. For Syd Barrett, the beautiful genius angel who created Pink Floyd. But he did too much LSD, artificial opening of the gateways, and it overwhelmed him, and he spent the last 40 years of his life basically, I think did they lobotomize him? I'm not sure. It's not a good story. So you want to open this lid with the direction of Source God. Okay, God, that which I'm ready to deal with, then integrate that. And it's going to be a hairy ride anyway. You're going to be like, oh my fucking God, this is too much. You know, you're going to want to kill yourself. You're going to think you're God. You're going to want to start a cult somewhere. You're going to go from omnipotence to impotent instantly. Oh, I can save the world. I have giant insights. Okay, settle down. Settle down. Settle down. You're in the process of Jekyll and hiding here, spiritual bipolar integration. Oh my God, it's horrible. God's a fucking absentee landlord. He fucking hates us all. He's going to kill us. Okay, settle down. Settle down. It's not that bad. You're going to spiritually bipolar like that on the real healing path. Why? Because you've been relegated to this spectrum, and your real spectrum is not even linear. It's circular and omni and multidimensional. And you're going to re-expand yourself. Oh, I want to become one with everything. Really? From this one little line, imagine just a drawn line, linear fucking reductionist materialist reality. I want to become one with everything. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to be smacked. You're going to be exploded. You're going to turn into a wet fucking spot in the corner of the room, schizophrenic, talking to yourself. That's it. So it has to be open slowly. Spiritual casualties is a real thing. Spiritual casualties happens a lot. You open Kundalini too fast. Oh, I'm cool. I'm spiritually macho. You get smacked by one little minor level demon is going to just suck you up and use you. Yeah. So the safest approach I recommend, ask Source, the Tao. If you like God as a personality, father or mother, do that. You're going to always talk to Divine Mother. It's sort of the easiest way, in my opinion, because that's what I do. So I think it's the easiest way is to talk to God as a loving Source, father, mother. Pick whatever you like. Do you like mommy or daddy? And you can know shit. And they say, well, you're it. And then your teachers are going to say, well, you're a piece of the big consciousness. You are a piece of God. I am the power and presence of God. I'm not ready for that. I'm ready for, perhaps I could develop tinily. I'm a little tiny seed, potential seed of Source God. Okay, I can handle that. Be honest and real exactly where you're at. Keeping it real will keep you from veering off into spiritual casualty land, into I have to be locked up and be on heavy psychotropic medicines, which happens. Now, working with natural things, it's harder to do that, like ayahuasca or psilocybin or whatever, DMT, because these are naturally occurring DMT, by the way. Anything artificial, you can go into artificial lands, right? Natural raw sugar, not so bad. Artificially refined sugar, oh, it's a fucking poison that we're just waking up to. Super diabetes, you know, I mean, diabetes is an epidemic. It's ridiculous. It used to be called sugar diabetes for 50 years. And then all of a sudden the sugar company said, well, we're going to lobby. Can we take the word sugar off of that diabetes? Because it's too much of a direct correlation. It's so obvious for everybody it comes from sugar. And since we want to sell billions of dollars of pure refined bleached sugar to people, here's 300 grand. Let's lobby to get, here's 3 million to get the name divorced. So that's just called diabetes. But it used to be called sugar diabetes. Duh. Anything refined, be careful with it. Naturally occurring, not so dangerous. Coca leaves, yep, chew them, no big deal. You barely use nothing. You feel hardly anything. Drink the coca tea. It's like at the airport in Peru. He's like, as soon as you arrive in Cusco, here's your tea, because it'll help your blood. Beautiful. Cocaine, you know, can be a little bit misused, you know. I don't know about opium, but I'm sure like making opium poppy soup or something is probably not as dangerous as doing opium or heroin, right? So be careful with spiritual techniques as well, because they are refined light techniques. Ida Pingala, super breathing. So many, you know, we think we can do it. The yoga, you know, you're fucking snorting prana, literally. So I'm just doing a little caveat about do the natural organic path back home. Lead with heart. When heart leads, you tend to enjoy heart. When Lucifer mind, now I'm not, Lucifer's a being who's not all bad, by the way. It's going to be a big reveal who's who. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. The good shall be bad, and the bad shall be good, you know? Surprising who are you going to meet in heaven? Oh, there's AC fucking DC playing in the band in heaven. Highway to Hell? Oops, it's different. And there's the church choir leader who's, oh boy, he did some naughty things. So it's going to be very different once the veil comes down. Don't believe the advertising. Believe, ask, make it a priority, I suggest. Get to know. Show me what's real, Father, Mother, Source. Let me see behind the veil. Ooh, there's a little fat, pudgy fucking guy who makes all this noise with big machinery and thinks he's the Wizard of Oz and scaring people. Ooh, how did we fall for that crap? And there's the medicine woman that everyone thought was a witch and that we stood by and watched her be burnt at the stake a bunch of times. And we were like, oh, yeah, she was evil. Really? She was the one person trying to keep things grounded and organic and real. And then she got pissed and used some of her shit on you when you kept torturing her. By the way, a lot of you witches out there, that's the crux. When you finally had them torture and rape you and hurt you enough that you said, okay, I'm going to fight back. And you were called in the lightning and the weather and the fucking curses and the hexes. And then you get caught in your next lifetimes having to be some slave in some fundamentalist church. And there's a lot of the feminine medicine women that ended up on that journey. So that the route for you guys is to heal that place where you went rage, you went berserker. The Vikings used to go berserker, just throw their stuff off, grab their sword, walk into 50 people and start chopping heads off. Well, the equivalent of that for the women was when you started using your powers to get back at, quote, the churches or the controllers. You had a right to do it, but you exposed yourself into their power. It's a deeper subject. So those are the not points, the knotted points, the no points. You shall not, the not points. That's like crimps in the soul and the energy. Imagine if you could reach in and crimp it in the flow of the energy. That creates the karma. Kind of like you can squeeze dough and crimp it into a shape, squeeze it into shape. That can be done with light too. You can kind of create a non-flowing place in the aura. And which, by the way, yeah, cancer is a rip in the aura, by the way. Spirit showed me that about 20 years ago. It's an actual rip. And so this shit just starts pouring out. And so it has the blueprint is gone. And it starts growing in indiscriminate growth cells because it's a rip in the actual auric blueprint field, the body blueprint. You can heal that, by the way, innerbodyawakening.com. If you get back in touch with your blueprint, your holographic inner energy body on which the spiritual on the physical clothes itself, again, back to the source, you can heal that. Cancer can never be healed by scientific means, not permanently. You can heal the body. You can have super ET technology and heal the physical body. Or you can do super Atlantean high priest Tothian magic, the halls of Amenti, where you go down and rejuvenate the body for another 50,000 years. But you still didn't solve the problem. You didn't go natural. You didn't go direct. When you go natural direct, it's self-healing. It's self-curing. It's eternal life. So we're going to be, as we go into free energy, for example, we're going to be mesmerized, seduced by longevity, sort of the artificial intelligence thing. You're going to be able to rejuvenate your body scientifically. But the blowback, like it's just like anything else. If you avoid, eventually that's a giant fucking void that's going to come back and void you. Imagine eating, dinner every night and then just opening the basement door and throwing the fucking plate and the whole thing down there, just to scraps. What kind of festering thing is going to grow down there? Well, that's exactly what we've been doing with our subconscious. That's Pandora's box. So that I'm the little Pied Piper of emotional healing this lifetime. That's my job. Because, obviously I want to heal myself. So that's the key. The step back into me, and the step of cleaning my basement. And that's in certain parts of your chakras. Your heart is destroyed. It's got layers of mistrust. We have a crashed chakra system. All of us. All these things. Oh, let's do World Meditation Day. And, yeah, okay, it can be helpful. But you're only as helpful as healed as you are. You can only be as helpful as healed as you are. You can help add the intention, but for it to manifest, see it with realize in your life, you have to be able to receive it. If you cannot receive it because you got so much, if you want a new car, and you got to have it in the garage, you got to clear out the garage or it won't fit. All that trash has got to go. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with having trash and karma. It's just mechanics of it. This is the time on earth when many of us are here to actually clean a lot of that up. So ask for my particular most elegant way through the forest of the drama, trauma, and karma. What's the most elegant approach way? How can I move through the multidimensional cleaning of this in the most elegant way possible? There are faster ways. Like if you can do a whole theme of a particular thing that you lived 100 lifetimes, and if you can pull that whole string of those lifetimes and dissolve it, that's more effective than doing a soul retrieval for each one of those lifetimes. This stuff is available now in the no time space. No time space, you have eternity to take care of stuff. Starting to manipulate time. Now do it with heart. See, there's always a fallen mimicker where you can time travel and go back and try to change timelines. But once you start that shit, you're playing whack-a-mole. But if you do it organically with intention, you'll have them coalesce, collapse into what you want. This is like quantum intentionality. We're learning that you know that when you have a soft intention that barely noticed, it's just sort of like a soft breeze that went through your presence. And the next day that thing shows up, you're like, oh my God, I did have an intention that almost had to bypass your conscious mind. What's going on around here? Here's the conscious mind. I need a report and details and charts, exactly how this works. You need to explain it to me and reduce it into fucking little letters and mathematical formulas. That doesn't tend to allow for ease of creation. That's reductionist work. Enslave, toil and sweat shalt thou earn thy tiny little scraps of bread. Fun? I don't think so. How about more? That would be fun. Those things start coming towards you. What you think about, you bring about. Yeah, these are good little anti-programming things to put in our heads. What you picture, you get. Where your attention goes, energy flows. What if it could be ask better questions? What if it could be easier? What if I can just dwell upon it? Dhyana, the yogic word for dhyana, is jula. It's like a swing where you're daydreaming. Grandma's sitting there in her rocking chair doing dhyana yoga in her jula. You just dwell upon it because the thought attractor, the image it in. What if it could be simpler? Now, there's a bunch of built-up programming we have collectively of work. The early bird gets the worm. If it seems too easy, it probably is. There's no free lunch. Looking out for number one. Get us all to be pit bulls. Throw them in the pit and make them fight each other because we can feed off the blood. Yeah. Bankers don't work. Just remember that. They don't even show up to the office anymore. They hire little 26-year-olds that think it's cool to have a bank job. Look, I have a real job, Mom. I'm an important person. I work at the bank. They just use them as tellers to tell you what the fuck to do. Bankers don't work. They let you work. Slave for 30 years to pay off a mortgage that was just made up to begin with. Yeah, interesting game. But when we start getting our power back, then you can use the banks actually to help you. You know? So it's pushing us towards simplicity, towards I thought of it, I felt it. What do I want? But it's the enjoyment that brings the enjoyment. So that we're being taught now through financial crises, through the rugs being pulled out. Do you think all those people that, you know, put all their stock and worth into the almighty dollar? There could be a financial collapse. I mean, full on. And it's a tricky business because it's going to be global finance wants to step in and control everybody through the global collapse, financial collapse. But at the same time, the freedom thing is something like Bitcoin, where we're going to actually own it. Imagine PayPal where you own it. You own it. By as much as you use it, or as much money as you transfer through it, that's how much of it you own. Truly cooperative, owned by everyone. Feel it. At least open in the mind the idea of, oh, there's a coming financial system that'll trade, excuse me, online. But we have to overcome our doubt. It's a scam. I'm going to lose my money. And notice that in yourself. Oh, I wouldn't try. The guy who spent $28 on Norwegian guy on Bitcoin, now, you know, it's worth like, I don't know, $500,000. That's a precursor. Whether it turns out to be Bitcoin or something else, I've seen it. I can't quite grasp it. Probably because it's not formed yet. It's coming into formation dependent on the collective thoughts of what people can believe and receive. But this is an awesome time. The show's about to begin. Is everybody in? Right? This is the time when free energy is going to come. But you're going to have to live and let live. Let them fucking do it their way. And live and let die. You're going to have to let a bunch of people. Come on. All these people that have been doing drugs and avoiding and not doing any work on themselves. They've just been taking big Harma drugs and working and selling their souls to the fucking system. You think they're going to wake up magically one day and it's all going to be cleared out? Come on. No. But Tobias, you're being negative. You should be holding space for everybody being saved. Yes, I agree. Through grace. I agree. Yes, Jesus. Thank you. Right? Yes. But realistically, it's going to be a separation of those that want awakening, free energy, healthy, organic, techno working together, and those that want transhumanism and control and stealing from other souls. That's going to be a separation of the wheat from the chaff, of the goats from the sheep, or actually the goats from the free. Actually, no, the goats are all good. The sheep and the goats are good. This is the show. You can ensure your enjoyment, salvation, healing, getting a lot out of this time on earth by simply learning the simple techniques, the full divine breath, feeling your inner body, innerbodyawakening.com, learning to work with alchemy, alchemyprocess.com. And I would suggest add the heartenergy.com. That's my spirit showed me this a few years ago. It said, give people these techniques that they can take with them. And then you won't have to have chaos and the stuff that's coming down the pike, potentially, as the dam breaks and the fourth dimension astral monsters start literally manifesting on Earth. That's what occurred. It's already occurring. If you're willing to look, you go to any city or any place in the world and feel the homeless, poor, torture. There's angels walking among the homeless, but feel the demons and the people that are stressing the hell out of themselves to have materiality, you know. Start seeing behind the scenes. Nothing can stop you from hooking up, from connecting. Come union. But you have to do it. You can say, oh, I can learn how to swim. Yeah, you can. You know that's possible. But to actually learn how to swim, you got to do it. Get in the water. One full conscious breath. Don't be stuck in the head. See, with all this new information coming out, guys that are out there sharing information about the blue avians, and all that stuff's true. Information is not enough. Transformation will guarantee you a connection. I am interested in transforming myself. The potential flowering of a soul is incubating, hiding in my spinal column like a acorn hides the tree of life in it, the oak tree. You are hiding that. We are hiding that too. Now it's flowering more and more. The other night, I went into altered space. It felt like I was in an ayahuasca ceremony, but I didn't do any ayahuasca. It was just this grace that came in. Joy was holding space for me. And somebody, angels, body masters, the divine doctors, who knows? They don't care about recognition, by the way. You don't need to praise them, praise Zorax and Lord Metatron. Bullshit. If they need that, no. You're with the wrong people. They're just harvesting your energy. Real masters they allow themselves to be honored, but they don't want it, need it, crave it. They don't need that to feed on. They are in their own right, connected, hooked up, in communion with Source inside themselves. Nobody can stop you from doing that. That's the safest place ever. The safest place ever. Could you imagine the difference? Here's a multi-billionaire who builds some retreat in the mountains, with armed guards and underground bunkers and 10 years worth of food supply and all that shit. Super, right? Compare him to a being, or her, to a being that is connected to source inside themselves. Who's safer? The one who's connected to source is much safer. All it takes is one little earthquake and his super bunker just, it grinds his 10-ton security door off, tiny enough off its hinges that he can't open it, and he just trapped himself underground. You cannot escape this. This is part of the 0 point convergence going on Earth. This galactic, it's like a 0 point where all the veils meet. It's like an hourglass. They have to come together. In that place, you cannot outfox, outwit, outplay. You cannot survive. Who's going to win? You or the galaxy? You or God, source? You or the Tao? Your conniving mind is going to outwit the Tao? That is absolutely insane. That's worse than Don Quixote fighting windmills of his horse. It's absolutely turbo insanity. Yet people are doing it. They're running around all day going, oh, if I get the right amount of this, they get all this security safe, finally safe. You know, if I get the right husband, the right place, and the right kid, I'll finally be happy. If I get the right wife and I get this, it's a loser's game. The only safe space is what's waiting for you inside, what's incubating, waiting to grow, waiting to flower inside yourself. Now you're practical. When that inner voice says, put some money into gold or invest in that stock, boom, do it. God is source. The Tao is imminently practical. You don't go off into Rainbow Warrior land. Oh, it's all good. I don't have to do anything. I just trust the ETs and we're fine and we're not going to do bank accounts. Several friends of mine have done that. They go, I'm going to go live in a teepee in the mountains in Colorado and just live off the land. They last about one winter. Then they're so smoke-filled and wet and miserable. Now, if you're an avatar, you wouldn't be. If you're connected to nature, you're not miserable. But if you go there to try to escape all the horrible, evil civilization, then you're miserable. Why? Because you're running from your own shit. Babaji's fine in the mountains of the Himalayas. Why? Because he's one with nature. So nature does support him. But if you try to go, I'm going to be, you know, it ends up druggy. Let's just be honest. You've got to heal these parts inside yourself. Then nature becomes your friend and lays down at your door and she won't hurt you. And then you can exist 3 days without water in the hot Arizona desert sun. There's cooling Kundalini. I have that experience, by the way. After about 20 years ago, when this sort of golden child energy, there are steps where you go, okay, I get it. That Kundalini in me now, that belly, the golden child, thank you, God, for making me pregnant. Right? Everyone needs to have that rebirth inside themselves. It is literally physical sensation. In your belly, you don't have that gnawing hunger or feeling of being unconnected, disconnected, and needing something. You're actually like, oh, I feel connected wherever I am. And you become acutely aware of when you're not. It's a way of learning to stay connected. Keep your eyes on me, says the Kundalini. Keep your eyes on me, says the Holy Ghost. Keep your eyes on me, says the Tao. Keep your community, keep the convo going with me. It cools me in the heat. This time of the year, in the summer in Arizona, this Kundalini actually cools me. It can be 115 degrees if I'm down in Phoenix. And I'm like, I have waves of coolness. And in the winter, if it's 15 degrees in Flagstaff, Arizona, I'm like, God, this just feels good. Then it's warming me. It works to your benefit when you're hooked up to source. When you're not, you're at the effect of the mesmerized material manifestation. So the divine hookup will supply all things for you. I've lived that way. Since I was 29, I basically said, I'm not want to do anything. I don't want to do any fucking thing I don't want to do anymore. If God, you can't take care of me, then fuck off. This is how I would talk with the source God, the Tao. If you're sincere, that's what counts, not the words. Who cares? I mean, the specific words. The more annoying thing to the Tao is someone who's ultra religious and always like, oh, that's just fear. It's like when you have some annoying, cloying friend like that, fucking get a backbone, get a life. Well, that's how the universe feels about you a little bit. Come on, stop bugging me. Hook up, get real with me. Get real to heal. You know? How would you like your own child going, oh, daddy, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You'd be like, no, just relax, damn it. Just let's go ride the bike. Let's have a good time. If it's always in terror, it's not a good vibe. It's not a good energy. Nervous terror is not a good energy. And what's underneath that is often rage, right? It's the terrified, scared dog that bites. There's passive aggressive rage. All those overly nice people, usually passive aggressive rage that they have not dealt with. This is all the stuff that needs to be told now. Of course, the entities or the bad imprint, psychological imprints, the ones they're going to want to hide. They're not going to come to you and tell you, look, I'm a fucking demon. No, they're going to come to you and go, hi, I want to help you with your business. And I love you. You and I are meant to be soulmates. Woof. Ixnay, let's feel this through. It's going to come dressed really nice. I want to start a foundation for helping, disenfranchised women in Africa. And I had a message from Spirit that said, you're the one I should talk to, Tobias. I get that shit all the time. Now, often it's with good intentions, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So learn to be smart, learn to discern, feel, test the spirits, test the energies. Use your gut feeling. Then you don't have to live. You get intuitive knowledge, or you have to live it through. You get a world lesson. You have to live it in the world, or you got the internal lesson. You can shortcut all the karma. All right. Thank you, guys. Let me see. I know I didn't take it. I somehow it clicked in. I didn't have anything to know when we first started. Do my relatives who have passed know everything about my current life once they pass? No, they don't. Because they're on a need to know basis and a not to know basis too. They don't watch you all fucking. They don't do all that, okay? If they're in a non-judgmental place, and if there's some soul connection for them to be a guide for you, yes, sometimes they do that. But don't worry. God knows how to handle privacy laws totally. Some do, others don't. Others don't remember you at all. They don't even remember that you're their daughter, son, grandson. They have no clue. They just went off to a whole nother world. Just like when we're born here, like I said earlier, we completely forget where we came from. First question about sex. Gnostic text found at Nag Hammadi explains sex was a function designed in humans to bind them to this earthly realm. You can have that truth. There's lots of disinformation, I would suggest. And as you believe, so it becomes. If you're working with feeding entities, yes, that sex can totally bind you into the earth. Absolutely. If you're working with freeing entities, then sex can liberate you. It's in the spirit and it's the intention. But generally on earth, we had to put in hey, time out on everybody fucking everybody all the time, because we were doing it unconsciously. So it was actually a divine source. Tao had to step in at the time again of Pangea and Lemuria, because we started literally having sex with everything and created trapped souls, manitors in half human, half animal bodies, which is in its sense nothing wrong if you're a free soul. But if you are a trapped, separated soul and you trap yourself in animal bodies or in certain sex addictions, yes, it can make it worse. So there's truth to that, but there's also truth to where Tantra is the liberator, where impersonal, transpersonal God is fucking actually is the thing that starts dissolving your cells. Ask Shiva and Shakti. That's what they do all day long. So it depends. It depends. Mostly, there's a time to abstain. There's a time to not have sex when you're if you're run by sexual programs, by sexual addictions, whether usually subconscious. I remember having sex with a woman that just got, while we're doing it, she turned into an ancient Egyptian entity, came into her body. Really strong, inhumanly strong, grabbed me by the neck. And I was like, all right, that's it. I'm the fuck out of here. And Spirit told me, said, no, we got something to teach you. Stay with it, which I did. And it showed me how we have let in entities, especially, of course, the sex is the main gate. It's the most powerful. It's what creates life. So those entities that are interested, and it's funny, I actually had the thought this morning talking about some of this dark shit stuff, sexual stuff. So here it comes. That they infest you there. Each chakra can be attacked by entities that want to energy feed. Now, you know, doing exorcism a la Catholicism style is temporary, can work and has its right place, but it doesn't really heal it. You want to heal these energies inside yourself. You want to face them, feel it, face it, feel it, and free it. You want to work through it. Sometimes we do need outer help from doing that as well. Sometimes it's right to do a timeout. Other times it's you need to open your sex. You need to reopen it. You've held it at bay too long. It depends on individual situations, totally individual situations. There's no one pat answer for everybody, you know? The 1111 thing is, you know, is basically just starting to show you the fact that synchronicity is real. So the 1111 phenomena in the collective morphic field starts, oh my God, that's beyond chance, or that's so weird, or, you know, so the number thing is just starting to show you that it's a synchronistic thing. By the way, one of my addresses is 1111. Just by chance, the universe played with me. Yes, but it's not to make, don't make it over significant. Okay. After a while, you'll have synchronicity going on all around you all the time, but it doesn't mean anything. Like it doesn't say, oh, that means that we should get married or we should work together because of the synchronicity. No, it just means that synchronicity is happening. Don't give your power away to synchronicity. That leads to the superstition and the numerology and the person that's always testing everything and throwing the I Ching for every little decision in life. That becomes neurotic. Becomes neurotic. So, yes, behind how the whole thing works, you know? Okay, let's see if there's some other questions I missed here. I don't know about the Sirius star system, except it doesn't feel totally clean to me. It feels like there were some ancient Egyptian controls energies that came in through that as well. But I don't have enough to make definitive total knowing on that. I'd have to tap into it. All right. I hear that. Somebody says, everything around me is attempting to pull me out of this video right now. Not even going to go there. You will have strange manifestations at times. Like you can feel opposition. Like when you're changing, the old habits and the old ingrained and engrained imprints in you will want to pull you out to get you away. I watch people all the time, you know, go, when you hit a place that's going to unveil or help move a spell, basically an old thought program inside them, you're going to move that off of them. That spell will distract. Someone will show up at the door for no fucking reason. You know, weird stuff can start to happen to try to distract you. That is part of a membrane, a level, a certain thing to go through on the journey. Seemingly, you don't have to do it. But there are some collective beliefs about distractions, you know, that try to come in to get you off track. It's the seductions, it's the tests. And it's not something to be angry or you can be. If it triggers your anger, go for it. Express it, get it out. When you need to throw up, the best thing is to throw up. When you need to throw up emotions, do it. But try to do it in a place where you're not going to actually trigger other people into wanting to hurt you, which can happen. So that you can ask for the thank you, God, source, for protecting me, for making this as elegant as possible. There's really, really hard ways to purge things, and there's really easier ways. You can mow the lawn by using the scissors, or you can not have a lawn at all and not ever have to deal with it. There's multiple layers of doing it, right? All right. So no one can stop you from connecting to source inside you. You have all the full equipment inside you. A full conscious breath is often a nice little interrupter. In through the mouth, the tree of life the sap goes up, and then out. In through the nose and then out through the mouth. You download heaven into the earth, the tree of life. I am a tree of life. Very pure image. Trees are awesome. Everybody loves trees once they tap into trees. That can be a nice interrupter. Pray without ceasing, doing the soham. So I am is one of the most ancient Shiva breath meditations. The breath happens anyway inside you. You do the in and the out breath. So on the in breath, you quietly say to yourself, so. And on the out breath, hum. So I am. I am that. I am a part of source. I and my Father are one. You start doing that. It's a very simple practice. Don't do it as work. Do it as, I like drinking from this fountain. This tastes good. But so no one can stop you from anchoring source, the Tao, into your body and then sharing it with the world, whether openly or just by osmosis, walking, being out and about, interacting with other people. What if it was easier? What if it was just simply me receiving the divine breath, or feeling it going up and down your spinal column, just like the sap goes in a tree? Thank you, God. Thank you, Source. I love you. I love you. Why not make it a divine romance like Yogananda says? Wherever you go, fun stuff happens. Or, I don't want fun stuff to happen today. I want to be quiet. You can order it. What if it's that easy? It is that easy. Now, you've heard other people say that. While you're unaddicting yourself from the old tendencies, some techniques are helpful. Definitely. InnerBodyAwakening.com. I recommend it. I do it every day. I do it all the time. I do it. Why? Not because I should do it and be a good example. No, because it fucking feels good to me and I want communion. Don't do anything because you think you should. Find out what you want. Be smart about it. Be scientific about it. What do I want? What will give me what I want? Don't worry. The universe will kick your ass if you're off base. If you think, well, if I make 100 million, I'll have everything I want. Go for it. Don't worry. It'll kick your fucking ass. If you're not grounded, if you're not on the solid foundation. Why not? If you want to, at this time on earth, you've had enough lifetime lessons. So hook up. My spinal column, my life force is the place. Doesn't mean it all goes away and it's all la unicorns and fairies all the time. Although it does, fairies are real for me now. In Ireland, the first day I opened the door, I had a headache. This attack came during the night. It's part of the deal that I'm learning about this thing, what that is and how it actually works on the other levels. And there's some naughty shenanigans that goes on between dark wizards and, beings that are trying to help us and those that are trying to enslave us. Yeah, it's part of the game. That first day I opened the door in Ireland, and there's a little fairy person, about 12 inches, 18 inches tall, standing outside my door. Now I see it as light. Now the way it comes to me, I can see the light, and then I actually get the image at the same time in my mind. My friend sees it full on, the form, but apparently I don't want that. Sometimes if you get too much of that, you can get mesmerized by it and get sidetracked from what you're really here to do. That's why a lot of the psychic abilities have been shut off, because you've shut them off, because they would sidetrack you. Hook you into thinking that that's important. So I love the gnome. I go, hey, what's up? Or the fairy. He's just all shiny and happy. You're here. What are we going to do? It's like a visitor, It's beautiful. That's fun. And the trees will just like feed you. The rocks will talk to you. Years ago, one of my helpful friends, teachers, he opened me up to all the nature kingdom stuff. And one day we talked to the god of the rocks. They're literally beings. They're different than us, elementals. But Arensa, the god of rocks, talked to us. He was playful, a little stern with us, making fun of us as humans. Isn't that more exciting than fucking iPads and iPods and fake GCI generated movies? I think so. The organic movie is so much better, so much more fun than this virtual reality that they're going to suck your consciousness into. These, virtual reality goggles are going to be the latest thing for next Christmas. It's just a step towards sucking your consciousness into a matrix type fake world. Your choice. What you want. I ain't going down that world, the virtual reality. This organic virtual reality is actually designed by source, by our hearts, by fun, by enjoyment. Now we've had some interference for a while, but Earth wants to go back to actually having it be fun. Enjoyment. What's better than good fucking? Good sex. Good love fucking. Are you kidding me? There's nothing better than that. Now we've been so damaged and so hurt by it, and there's so many potential Pandora's box entities down there that we have to be careful with it. Because a lot of people that open that up too fast, those entities come up and take them over, possess them. So you have to be careful with it. We still have to have rules with ayahuasca. No, there's no fucking while you're here. No sex doing that, because we're so in sexual arrested development as humans. We're not going to be at some point. The masters are not. Their sex lives are off the charts, okay? Baba told me once, he said, I have sex with planets, lions, tigers. I got sex with everything. And he means literally, like the exchange of that orgasmic energy, because they can handle it, the union. We can't. We have one good sexual connection with a little bit of heart. We become stalkers of each other, Oh, you're the one for me. We create soul mate scenario bullshit. Especially women tend to be susceptible to that crap. We're all soulmates with each other. And occasionally there's the right person you made agreements with before you incarnated. Yes, all, both and more. But we have to proceed a little bit easy now with reopening Pandora's box and healing. Heal yourself. Heal yourself. Follow the yellow brick road for yourself. Follow the dancing elves. Follow the hints. Much love. I'm going to stop this right now. Okay. Blessings. Thanks for participating. I'm going to try to keep it somewhere. I'm going to try to do it noon now on Thursdays coming up. Okay. I might be changing things occasionally, but that's the plan right now. Noon on Thursdays. Much love. Thank you for participating. I'm now going to stop the broadcast. All right. And see you next time.